Hello there, everyone. This is Finn and Pip's channel, The Covenants of Promise. And today we're just going to be talking about something that we thought was amazing. And it's like how the truth is hidden in plain sight. You know, it's like sometimes it's looking straight at you and you don't even see it. And then all of a sudden you see it and you think, wow, how did I miss that? How did I miss that big pearl there that was just sitting there right in front of me? I mean, when I was a kid, we went to the beach with all the family, and I'm from a big Irish family, and my brothers, my older brothers, I was only a little baby, and they were looking for crabs all day, like because they wanted to eat them, which obviously we can't do that because it's shellfish, right? But we didn't know that back then, and I didn't know anything because I was a baby. And I'm sitting there playing with two of the biggest crabs you've ever seen in your life all day, right where our towels were on the beach. And I'm like putting little sticks in their claws and playing with them, like I wasn't wanting to eat crabs. I mean, they were weird looking. But I was just messing around with these crabs all day. My brother said, I've been all over the rocks, can't find any crabs anyway. And I said, Bernie, come and look at me. I've got two big crabs right here. And I mean, they were bigger than a man's head. They were huge with big, massive claws. And I've been like, seeing what they do. Did they grab the stick? Did they,
Yeah.
all day gone away. Like the book that we met some lad today, which was really amazing. And he's a brother and a father. Like, he doesn't even know he's Jacob yet, but he is Jacob. It's so amazing. And yeah, so, and he said, if you've read that book by, I think it's Paulo, some Spanish author, I have read the book. And it's a really good story about that a man goes away and he goes all over the world looking for fame and fortune and goes on all sorts of adventures, and then he sort of gets to the end of the road and he thinks it's like the prodigal son, you know. And it's the same story really. And he realizes that everything he ever needed or wanted was back at home. So he just goes home, and he realizes that everything he needs is right there. This is like our journey, you know. So I just thought I'd quote that because this is what me and this young man were talking about today. And we had a great day. We went to the beach with him and we
What
had a
about a hitchhiker?
beer together. We picked him up hitchhiking, believe it or not, which is I pick up every hitchhiker I see because I just do. Just in me to do that. You know, see a man who needs a little bit of help. You know, sometimes you appreciate it if somebody does that for you.
His
So
name was Jack.
I do, and his name was Jacob, and we bought him a knife. Told him to do the work with the knife, and I wrote Jacob on the knife for him, and he was made up. We were preaching the gospel to him, and he was totally receiving it. He was looking for something.
Cried.
He's crying his
Yeah.
eyes out. It was amazing. It was just really good to
Yeah.
finally catch a fish. He's made up with it. So, anyway, that was what we did today, which was pretty cool. Anyway, so what we're going to be talking about anyway today is that was just beside the point. But we're going to be looking into Matthew
26.
26, 17. And this is the truth hidden in plain sight, right? For anybody who's still following the Levitical laws and still keeping the feasts and thinking that's what they should be doing. And I get it because I thought that maybe that I should do that. I never did it. I did it once and I was like, then I realised the truth and never did it really.
Yeah. It's the Lord's Supper.
So, um,
Mention the Lord's Supper.
17. And what we're going to be looking at is the word supper, which is quite important because that's a word that doesn't exist in Latin, in Greek, in Hebrew. There is no word for supper. And, every jot and every tittle counts, yeah? So you can say, oh, that's his Last Supper, but it doesn't say that. It says the Last Supper, which is the last feast. And I've said in my other videos that our next feast is the marriage feast. Get your lamps ready, get your silver and gold, ordain yourselves, get ready to be married. This is what you need to do. And if you want to look the word supper up, it's in Strong's G1173 hash G1173. It's got the Greek, the description, speech, noun, KJV equivalent. Supper means feast. Right? That's what it says. The wife just got that up for me again, just to remind me brain of it, like so. So we'll go anyway from 26:17. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Yahushua, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? Yeah. And he said, Go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, The master saith, Mine time is at hand. Check that out for a statement. The master saith, My time is at hand. You see, he knows he's about to fulfill the sacrificial law. All his disciples don't even know what he's talking about. You see how privileged we are to know these things? Because we get to meet in due season, because we're the seed of Jacob. You know, you get it, like, it's just incredible to me. But anyways, I'm getting off the beaten track. So, go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, The master saith, My time is at hand. Big statement. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples. Now I'm going to stop there, because people said about the disciples, and they said they never fast. You know, the Pharisees and the Sadducees and all the people who are pointing the finger, because they're not acting like everybody else and not doing the things that everybody else did. Instead, they're doing the work of the Father on the Sabbath day. What they say, profaning the Sabbath, but they're not really profaning the Sabbath. They're doing what really should be done on the Sabbath, which is to preach the royal law and teach the gospel to others. And this is what you all don't get in the churches. And the disciples did as Yahuwah had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. Now, when the even was come, they sat down with the 12. You see, you can't keep the feast without the 12 tribes. Who do you think the apostles represented? Yeah, maybe they were one of each of the tribes. You ever think about that? A representative.
They were, yeah.
You know, the 12. So the 12 tribes were there when Yahushua kept the feast with them, which is incredible in itself, is it not? And as they did eat, he said, Verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. And they were exceedingly sorrowful, and began, every one of them, to say unto him, O Father, is it I? And he answered and said, He that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goeth, as it is written of him. But woe unto that man, by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said unto him, Thou hast said. He told him he knew. Thou hast said that. What did he say? Whoever smelt it, dealt it. You know what I mean? As they were eating, Yahushua took bread and blessed it, and brake it, and gave it to the disciples, and said, Take, eat, this is my body. And he took the cup, and gave thanks, and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins.
New covenant.
Yeah, so you see, he's just about to go and fulfill the sacrificial law as the spotless lamb. And I think everyone at that table was none the wiser. You know, they weren't, because he said when Peter cut one of the Roman soldiers' ears off and he put it back on, and he said, Don't you think I can call 10,000s, thousands of my holy angels right down now and sort these Roman soldiers out? He said, Prophecy must be fulfilled, Peter. So he put the Roman soldier's ear back on. See, Messiah knew where he was going, but the apostles didn't. They didn't know what was happening. Hey, he probably told them in not so many words, but I don't think they got it really. Just as no one gets it today. You know, it's the same. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, "Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood, the royal blood. And whoever drinks of that becomes part of the royal house and sups with Jehovah in heaven." Of the New Testament, which is shed for many, the New Testament being the covenant of promise, get onto this, for many of the remissions of sins. But if I say to you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit, of this wine, until the day when I drink it anew with you in my Father's kingdom. He's saying he's not going to drink the Passover or eat the Passover bread again until you sit with him in his Father's kingdom. Because Yahuwah, the presence of God, has left the world. And that's why he said, why should my apostles fast when I'm with them? You know, let them fast when I'm not here. Because he's not here. He's in his Father's kingdom. And the next time when he brings the kingdom down to earth with New Jerusalem, that's when we feast again, you see. And this is why he says, this is why he says it. Oh, where was he up to? But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine. The vine's Jerusalem. You know what I mean? That's the people who he saves, the vine. He's the vine, right? And the fruit on the vine is like Solomon. They're the precious grapes that he grew in the vineyard. You know, my mother's children hated me and they made me the keeper of the vineyard. But the little foxes tried and come to spoil the vine. You know, they're precious and fragile grapes. And the little foxes like getting in there and doing their work on the grapes, don't they? On the precious fruit. You know? Not the wild grapes, the choice grapes. The ones he wanted to bring into the kingdom. So, I'm going to read that again because it's so important. But I say unto you, I will not henceforth of this fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it anew with you, in my Father's kingdom, in the inner chamber. Hey, shepherds, Jacob, you're all going to be sitting in the inner chamber like having a beer with God. That's cool, isn't it? Glass of wine, saying, look at all the grapes we brought, isn't this amazing? Let's have a party. This is the marriage feast. Yeah, then we should celebrate. And when they had sung an hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Then saith Yahushua unto them, all ye shall be offended because of me this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. Wonder who that is. But after I am risen again, I will go before you into Galilee. Peter answered and said unto him, through all men shall be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended. And Yahushua said unto him, verily I say unto thee, that this night before the cock crows, thou shalt deny me thrice. Now you wonder why he said to Peter 3 times. He was rebuking Peter. Peter, feed my sheep. Peter, feed my sheep. Peter, look after my lambs. Because Peter denied him 3 times, so he rebuked him 3 times. That's the way we've got to be. Right? So get onto it anyway. Peter said to him, with thee, yet I will not deny thee. Likewise also said all the disciples. Then cometh Yahushua with them into a place called Gethsemane, Gethsemane. Gethsemane. There you go. Sorry. It's one of them words I have difficulty with. And saith unto the disciples, Sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And ye took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then saith unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. And watch with me. Peter, feed my sheep. Come on now. And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. This is why the Father, right, because he was there from the very beginning. The Word was there from the beginning. Yeah. And this is why he was given all authority, because he always did the Father's will. That's why he was sinless. The Word was there from the beginning. And so, you know, like, I heard people talking in a conversation on the internet, like these three guys, and, you know, they all believe in that. And they were asking questions, is God the same as, you know, the Messiah, and is the Spirit the same? And I was like, yes and no at the same time. Because Yahusha always did Jehovah's will. You know? He always did his will. And because of that, and he was there from the beginning, his only begotten son. They are separate people, but they've all got the same purpose. They preach one gospel. Just like Paul said, if anyone teaches you any other gospel by the one Yahusha teaches, then let him be accursed. He says it again, I say unto you again, this is Galatians, if any other man preach another gospel unto you than the gospel that we've received, then let him be accursed twice. That's how important that is. So when you hear someone talking gobbledygook, you tell them where to go. Beat your feet, lad. Get down the road, because you're scattered in a flock. You know? Go and get circumcised somewhere else, foolish Galatian. Anyways, so let's get back to it. Exceeded sorrow, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. Watch my sheep, look after my flock. And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but thou as you will. Yeah. Let not your word come back to you void. What's that? Isaiah 51. I love reading that, because I don't want my will. My will is messed up. If I did my will, there'd be no one left outside. I'd go out there and see to them all. I need the mercy of the Father, and I have to do his will, because I tell you what, I'm just about sick of these guys everywhere, and women who are just doing stupid things all the time. I lose my patience with them. Whereas he's got eternal patience. And it's a good job I love him, because it's the only reason I've got them. Because I was born with a bit of a bad temper, and unfortunately, but you know, because of the love of him, it's just it's overtaken me. I haven't got that no more. I haven't got a lot of things anymore that I used to have that were bad. So I'm trying to walk in the Spirit. I'm not trying, I am, and he's just talking for me now. It's just, I love him so much that all I want to do is his will. Because I know I'm stupid, I'm an idiot. Like I said, I'm not even that much of a decent guy. So I know not to listen to myself. So stop doing that now. I'm trying to anyway. Stop completely listening to myself. O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me, nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. And that's so important to me. That's all I ever pray for. And he cometh into the disciples, and findeth them asleep, and saith unto Peter, What could ye not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, and ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. this is exactly what I was just saying about these. The flesh weak, man. He went away again the second time and prayed, saying, "Oh, my Father, if this cup may not..." Sorry, I suffer with dry skin. My fingers won't turn the page sometimes. "May not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done." And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them and went away again and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then cometh to his disciples and saith unto them, "Sleep on now, and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand." Wow. "And the Son of Man is betrayed unto the hands of sinners. Rise, let us all be going. Behold, he is a hand that doth betray me." And you see, well, we could go on. Should we go on further on that one?
I'd go to the Beatitudes now.
Yeah. So we were just basically showing you that, like, the way he knew what was happening and nobody else did. You know,
Lord,
no one was the wiser. He knew he was about to go and be murdered in the most brutal possible way ever, and none of them did. You know, like, you could see plainly obvious that they're like. And what did he say? And he said, this is what we were talking about. If we go back,
Lord's Supper.
what is it, 26,
26, 17.
17. Right, so that gives us a good description on the situation. And that's what I wanted to put some light on the situation that was happening, you know. So, anyway, if you go back to 26:17, and this is what we were looking into. The word for supper is feast. And it's called the last feast. And he says to his disciples, why should they mourn? You know, he says, "I shall turn all your feasts to mourning." Right? This is the last feast until we go to New Jerusalem. And then we'll feast again when we sit in the throne room, at the table, in the kingdom. So all you are doing the feast, you're not listening to what he's saying. This is called the last feast, the last supper. There's no word for supper. It's not a real word. That's a modern English word. There is no word for that. And I gave you the Strong's Concordance on it if you want to look it up. But again, I'll just repeat this because this is important. Right, we'll be 26:17. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Yahushua, saying unto him, "Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee eat the Passover?" And he said, "Go into the city so much, and say unto him, The Master saith, My time is at hand." He's just about to do that, the thing that he's done. "I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples." Disciples, Jesus pointed unto them and made them ready for the Passover. Now when the even come, he sat down with the 12, and they did eat. And he said, "Verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me." This is not what I wanted to read, love.
What do you want to read?
I wanted to just read that the main bit.
That is it. The Last Supper.
It's going on about the betrayal of Jude.
No, because you're on 26:17 says about the Last Supper.
No, but he says, "I'll not keep this again with you." What one's that?
That is here 26 here. Right. And
26:26.
Yeah.
Right.
took
Okay.
the bread. Sorry, 26:26.
Make me read. I'm just trying to get to a specific point. Sorry. 26:26. And they were eating. Yahushua took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, so who did he give thanks to? His Father in heaven. You know, there's your answer to your question, the other guys. "Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament." The new law, the refreshing of the covenants of promise. he refreshed them. So now you're no longer under the schoolmaster. Did you get it? Sorry, sorry, I was getting a bit impatient with my wife there. Sorry, love. Love you. There you go, love you. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine. Yeah. Yeah. Feasters? Anyone? Jews? Tribe of Judah? What do you reckon? Are you not listening to this? Until that day when I drink it with you in my Father's kingdom. Where's his Father's kingdom? New Jerusalem. Not here yet. So you want to calm down. Because he turned your feasts into mourning and lamentations. Remember?
That's Christmas
In
as well.
Isaiah. No, your feast days, your festivals. Now, it's like as if you cut a dog's neck. Now, it's like you killed a man. If you offer oblations onto him on one of the feast days, it's like you poured swine's blood upon the altar.
Isaiah 60.
Because I hate the things that you do. You choose the things that I hate, he says. You choose the things that I hate. And then you've got Baruch saying, earth, earth, earth. This is one of the 4 angels that were about to destroy Zion and take the presence of God away. And they wouldn't let the enemy come in. They wouldn't let the enemy come in case, this is what it says, in case they boast that they destroyed the city. The angels wouldn't let the enemy come in. And they stood on the 4 corners of Jerusalem. And one of them went up to the throne room and said, what would you have us do, Father? He says, go down there, get rid of all my gear. I'm out of here. And then once I'm out of there, then the enemy can come in and take Jerusalem. Right? And he says to the angels, when the other angels come down, what shall we do? He says, earth, 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 earth. Open up. Swallow the Ark of the Covenant. Swallow the menorah. Swallow the tent, the tabernacles. Swallow the holy vessels. Swallow it all. And keep it in the earth. And hide it until the time has come. The marriage feast. Because he says you'll accept our feast days once we sup with him in his Father's kingdom. No, it's all linked. But anyways, so it's buried. And this is a book that I only read because the feasters were telling me that Baruch said keep the feasts. And then Baruch standing on a hill, crying his eyes out because Zion's no more. And the angel said to the enemy, now you may enter the city because the presence of God has left this place. So Zion is no more. How can you keep the feasts when Zion is not here? The tribes aren't here. The tabernacle's not here. The high priest's here. And he even says in Baruch, burn the garments of the priests, the girdle, the garment of truth, burn them and don't sew them no more. Yeah, keep the feasts, eh? That sounds like keeping the feast, doesn't it? Retards, man. But anyways, so yeah, don't sew the garments of the priest no more, the girdle of truth. Get the linen garment and burn them in case the enemy take hold of them. They're too holy for these heathens to even touch. And you want to do the feasts in a profane and Babylon. It's not for their eyes, it's not for them.
Not clean.
But it's really enjoyable, isn't it? You know, well, one day you have to be patient, right? One day we'll do the feast again when we sit at the table in the Father's kingdom. Now we're supposed to be mourning like Daniel 10. We're supposed to be remembering the Passover, but thinking Zion is no more. You know,
Hang up your
we're sad about it. You know, I'm sad about it. I mourn over all the lost. I want to find them. You know, and I know a lot of other men as well who are doing the same thing. And they're mourning and weeping all the time, right in front of everyone. You know, people are slandering them and going against Jacob. And these are Jacob. I know they're Jacob. Because I say something one day to the missus and they say it the next to me. It's like there's total and utter unity, even though we don't speak. I don't speak to these men, and they say the same words as I do.
Yeah.
The very next day after I've said them to my wife.
Straight as the gate.
Yeah, straight as the gate. That's what they're called. And broad is the path of destruction, is it not? And what do we need? We need to keep the covenants of promise. So I don't know what to tell you, but I just thought it'd be really good to flip from that, because we described how there is no such word as supper, the last feast. Then we should flip back to Matthew 5, I reckon, and just go through the Beatitudes, because I think that hooks up quite nicely, doesn't it? Chimes quite well, sir, as I like to say. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The ones who mourn after the scattered tribes, yeah? After the, that's what that means. Blessed are they. Oh, God says it in the next verse. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Right? And this is like retard version for people who just don't understand anything.
Mourning for the lost sheep.
Blessed are the meek, the ones who are not full of pride, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after the 10 Commandments. Righteousness, for they shall be filled.
Not doing the feast, hunger and thirst.
Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. I wanted mercy much more than sacrifice. I wanted the knowledge of God much more than sacrifice. So now that's why we rebuke our brother with the royal law instead of stoning him to death. We don't cut the skin off our dicks no more. You know what I mean? We don't stone anyone to death no more. But Paul says, if you keep one part of the sacrificial law, then you're a debtor to the whole law. But you can't keep, because there's no priesthood, there's no 12 tribes, there's no menorah, there's no ephod, there's no ark, there's no tabernacle, and there's no priesthood, because the Levitical priesthood really messed up, and he doesn't like them either anymore. They've lost their badge of honour.
Melchizedek.
Now we're in the order of Melchizedek, and the high priest of Melchizedek is Messiah, and he's in his father's kingdom, sitting at the east gate eating his bread, listening to the gospel, and he's giving it to the inner chamber, yeah, the presence of Jehovah, and saying, listen to what they're saying, Dad. You know what I mean? That's his bread. That's his bread. He's gathering the fruit, you know? So anyways, let's get back to it. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Oh, wow. How do you get pure in heart? Come on, let's have it right. Come on. How do you get pure in heart? By keeping the 10 Commandments. Yeah? By having clean hands and a pure heart. It says that all over the Bible. Yeah? And you'll have clean hands by doing the royal law and warning your brother that the terrible and great day of the Lord's coming. So you better get your act together and stop doing that. Stop doing all these things that put you into bondage, and stop worshipping all these false idols. Stop doing idolatry. Love your brother like yourself by going out and teaching the gospel to others. It's that simple, you know. It freaks me out how simple it is and how the whole world doesn't get it.
This is the amazing one, this one.
Blessed are the peacemakers, Jacob, the servant. It's always talking about Jacob. Peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Right, that's not somebody who goes and breaks up a fight between two guys in a bar and says, lads, come on, don't hit each other. There's women and kids in the corner. That's the one. That's the repairer of the breach. That's who you're going to be called, because you bring peace between man and God. That's why the blessed is the peacemaker. Because at the moment, God is going to kill everyone because of their transgressions, because of their idolatry, because of the way they're living, because of lack of faith. He's coming onto the world like a thief in the night. He's going to send the whirlwinds, the 144,000 as his army, and destroy all the unbelievers and all the ones who commit sin and do not believe and do not love him. And you don't love him because you don't keep his commandments. If you keep his commandments, then he knows that you love him. Love is an action. It's not just a Hollywood movie. You know, it's like me beating my wife and saying, oh yeah, well, I only do that because I love you. You know, that's just words. If I treat her well, I show her that I love her. And that's what he wants. He doesn't want vain imaginings and vain words. Neither do I. Pisses me off. Anyways, let's get back to it. So I'm going to read that again because it's such an amazing thing. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. So you're going to become part of the royal house as family. You're going to be children. You're going to be sitting there going, Dad, why are you always so annoying? I've been right all the time. You're so annoying. Get me another beer. Shut up. Whatever. Anyway, I'm not sure. I'm sure it won't be like that, but you know, it's just me having a joke. Blessed are the peacemakers; they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And I tell you what, all the watchmen know what that means, don't we? And it's going to get worse. I'm just waiting for the day when they're all standing outside with pitchforks and burning torches, going, "Kill them, kill them!" You know what I mean?
There are more for us than against us.
But guess what? Yeah, that's what we were talking about as well. Who was it? Alicia.
Alicia saw, or Elijah saw.
Elijah saw it. He was
eye.
talking to Alicia, and Alicia's panicking because there's like men with swords and everything around them, and he says, "Can't you see? There are more for us than against us." And in that moment, Alicia sees, and he goes, "Oh wow, these guys are doomed." You know, it's like Yahusha said when he Peter chopped the ear off the Roman soldier. He said, "Put your sword away." You know, he said, "Don't you know I can call on tens of thousands, my holy angels?" And it says in the Bible that one angel killed 120,000 men in one day with a sword. I mean, that guy must be fit. That's all I can say, because I know I've done sword fighting, I've done kendo, Japanese samurai gear, and to kill 120,000 men, that's a lot. I mean, you definitely have to make sure you had your greens that day, your spinach. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I think that's all we were going to look at.
It's not finished.
It's not finished. What are we going?
Blessed are those who revile you.
Oh, sorry. Blessed are they which persecute you for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So if you get sent to jail for preaching the gospel, wear it like a badge of honour. And when you're in the cell, smile and speak to him. You know, just speak to him. Just be like, I'm in jail like Paul. This is awesome. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake.
Family, friends.
Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Amen. Walk in the ways of the prophets, and you shall share in their rejoicing. I'm going to leave it right there, because it's such... but remember that, the last feast. And someone said to me, it means his last feast. They're making their own words up. It doesn't say his last feast, it says the last feast. Passover, the last one. And the next one, be in New Jerusalem, get the oil in your lamps. And all the people who say this, they know those scriptures, you see, that's why I'm saying them. Preparing for the marriage. Have you got the oil in your lamp? Preparing for the feast. Ordain yourselves with silver and gold. His cheeks are comely. His countenance is like the cedar. His eyebrows are black and bushy as the raven. Oh, my bride. Go out, watchmen, and search on the broad ways. The broad ways is the paths to destruction. You know? Go on the broad ways and rip off the veil of that bride. And you know what I don't want for anyone? Is when the bride comes and she grabs the handle and she smells the myrrh on the handle. It says the handle was dripping with myrrh. And she opens up and the fragrance was beautiful. And there's no one there. Please don't be that one without the oil on your lamp. The one that never gathered up the vineyard. For your own sakes, I want you to come to the kingdom, please. I'll leave it there.